then you kind of lose who you are. If your job is to kind of freely point out that these people suck and you find out that maybe they don't, you might lose an audience. You might you might end up like if you're going and I've seen it on your show when you veer.
I've lost audience.
Yeah.
Before many times, and I don't care. I care because it'd be great
if you enjoy discussions that result in real conflict, you should listen to this heated debate on the Bill Maher's Club Brandon podcast. Imagine Greg Gutfeld, the king of provocation, and Bill Maher, who is known for his sharp criticism, engaging in a heated discussion about cancel culture versus awake culture. Maher suggests that woke culture may have gone too far in creating an environment where people are afraid to voice their opinions, like throwing a lip match into a cake of powder. The energy in this fight was such that it kept you glued to your seat during a passionate, unrestrained argument.
And then some of them, I watched Rain Man again. I thought it held up pretty well. But again, you couldn't make it because, like he says the R word a million times. That kind of stuff. We're like in kindergarten now, where we have to say pee-pee and poo-poo and R word.
Well, Animal House. I think Animal House still holds up, but you could not do that movie, especially in the nightclub scene.
Oh.
When do you mind if we dance with your dates? That whole thing would never happen. It would never happen. That's the first time I ever saw breasts.
It's every movie. It's every movie.
Yeah.
It's any movie made even 10 years ago, and there's something there that if you really examine who you are, you probably are not offended at all. We all laughed at this stuff and it wasn't terribly, we know when something's terribly offensive. But when you hear it now in 2023, you hunch up because not because of it itself, but because the reaction it will cause.
Yes.
You're going to have to listen to people bitching about this and posturing and pretending they're so offended and it's so terrible. And that's what's going to be so.
And they're not. That's the thing. They're not offended.
Well,
they're not. No one's really offended, I think.
Well,
because you can, when you said.
People are offended and some things are offensive.
Yeah, but it's kind of like when I said, you Google people who are dead. When you're offensive, if you just waited 10 seconds.
It's an important lesson to learn when Greg Gutfeld exposes the ridiculousness and hypocrisy of political correctness, so be prepared. This is how it all happened. Greg Gutfeld and Bill Maher, two political analysis superstars, participated in what seemed to be another Club Random session, but it quickly escalated into a heated argument in which their sincerity and convictions were made clear in their discussion about woke culture and its effects on free speech. Maher started off by bringing up a topic that many people are reluctant to discuss because he worries that his audience will turn away if he doesn't support every progressive plan currently up for vote.
Is to kind of freely point out that these people suck and you find out that maybe they don't, you might lose an audience. You might you might end up if you're going and I've seen it on your show when you veer.
I've lost audience.
Yeah.
Before many times, and I don't care. I care because it'd be great if it didn't happen. But my real bond with my audience is that I never pull a punch.
Yeah.
And I never. I have lost people who were think I'm conservative now, and I have not changed, I don't think, at all.
No.
I think the politics has changed and the people have changed, but I don't think that it makes me a conservative to, think things that are crazy are crazy.
Yeah.
And forcing me to say so doesn't help.
Yeah.
There's just too much forced conformity.
Yeah.
And there's no thinking out loud.
Yeah.
That's not allowed.
It's like walking on a tightrope, right? Say the wrong thing and boom, you're canceled.
Instead, they get on Twitter and then they create this kind of mob reaction, and then people are so bored and they're so distracted that and also it's a personal power thing. It's like, if I don't have any power in my world, at least on here, I can exert some kind of power, get somebody to apologize. And it feels good. It feels good if I can get 1,000 retweets that Bill Maher said this and what an asshole, and then it happens. It's but your life doesn't change. My life doesn't change by doing that, but I feel like I did something. And I think that's been driving a lot of this shit.
The phone made people assholes.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Yeah.
It allows you to just be so fucking cowardly, anonymous, shady,
Yeah.
fake. All these shitty qualities it brought out in people.
Yeah.
So the fact that I was always seen as kind of a cynic about humans, I think that looks pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it turns out that they are really, humans are not good people.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know. Well, we're definitely.
Since authenticity should always come before popularity, Gutfeld disagreed with this notion, but insisted to add that worrying about the audience's negative reactions is just a trap that must be avoided. According to Gutfeld, the so-called woke mob is actually a performative group that is motivated more by the need to establish authority than by genuine outrage. They manipulate people on social media by inciting outrage in an effort to get a lot of likes and retweets.
30 of the years that I've done real time from the same studio at CBS here in Hollywood, 20 years, the first, I would say, at least 15, I was probably fighting with the audience, you know, at least once a show.
Mhm.
It was very rare I had an audience that didn't like ooh and ah something. Then somebody did some, part of it was the pandemic. We had to like get a smaller audience.
Right.
And so somehow they knew how to like get rid of just the groaners.
Yeah.
And so like we stuck with it even after the pandemic ended, and we could have as many as we want now. But I was like, no, I'd much rather have this half filled, but they're the good people who they can laugh at both sides.
Right.
They cheer both things. They cheer common sense.
Despite the fact that everyone is now a self-appointed vigilant with hashtags and Twitter as a playground, Gutfeld angrily criticized humor restrictions, comparing them to taking away the very element that makes comedy funny. However, what was fascinating was how Bill Maher, who is well known for his razor-sharp wit and unapologetic opinions, battled his own contradictions throughout the discussion. Also, because both men are accustomed to the fire, the idea of hilarious censoring was brought up immediately.
Are you with? When you said it was like you take them at their worst intentions, not their best. And everything that's going on right now in our lives is based on people taking the worst intention.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't matter if you're a conservative and you don't like liberals, you will take the worst example of a liberal. And a liberal will take the worst example of a conservative, and they both are almost identical. Like the squad is the same as whoever you want to call on the conservative side. They're exactly the same.
There is a lot of that.
Yeah, and it's and the thing is, it's really funny when like I make fun of like Ilhan Omar, and then she'll say something that I agree with, and I'm like
what?
She was pretty good. That's a good question. There were two things that she said. She was pissed off about what was going on in Palestine. Not Palestine, but Palestine.
Oh.
And, yeah.
I'm glad
it wasn't Palestine.
I was...
But she was talking about but there were some other things that she said that I thought were like, wow, that's pretty libertarian. Because generally, she's kind of scary. But, like, maybe she's not as bad as I think she is. But what happens if you start feeling that way about everybody? Then you kind of lose.
Bill Maher told Gutfeld that he frequently holds back out of fear of being branded as conservative, and he freely acknowledged that he feels conflicted about how his audience views him. Gutfeld didn't mince words, pointing out Maher's inconsistencies and making the case that people like Maher put popularity before the truth, which is why society is collapsing. As tensions increased, it became evident that Maher, who had previously been a strong supporter of pushing boundaries, was now ensnared in a society that was fixated on creating new ones.
Wall. It's a bathroom wall. So you can write things on it and not be held accountable. It's.
But it has repercussions, and a bathroom wall doesn't.
Yeah, it does. It destroys
all
careers.
All you do is go in there and roll your eyes because you're reading.
Do you remember that girl that made that joke? Who, before she was leaving to fly to South Africa.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, and she said, I hope I don't get AIDS. That's a joke about America and about how we don't care about. And I remember, that was the first Twitter.
Yeah.
I think it's the first cancel culture moment.
I mean, it was.
That was the.
if they haven't made a movie about it, they should.
Yeah.
Because by the time she got off the plane, her life was over.
There were people at the airport waiting for her because it felt so good to get somebody. And I can't remember her name, but she, I don't like what happened to her. I'm going to Google her when we're done.
No, which, you know, there used to be, if something like that happened, I think there was this allowance for someone to then go, oh, fuck, okay, you got me. It was a brain fart. I'm sorry, you're right. That was a shitty thing to do. And that was that.
Yeah.
And that should be all that, because people, what I hate is the bad faith of people who know that this person isn't a horrible person, but I'm going to wreck your life anyway. Because of this one misstep and not a hanging offense.
Yeah.
Especially if you own it. But not with these people, it's never good enough.
Yeah. I would say that.
Just like blood.
I would
Like
say
blood,
that
and they
I
like
was
to-
guilty of that, though. Like in the beginning,
Recognizing his past difficulties, Bill Maher said he didn't want to aggravate his audience anymore. But Gutfeld refused to back down, claiming that it is pointless to try to placate indignation at the expense of integrity. According to him, society values fake indignation over actual injury, and caving into this simply serves to reinforce a culture of fear and submission. Their differing perspectives were stark. Gutfeld shamelessly forthright blasted established conventions, while Maher struggled to tread the delicate line between personal belief and public expectation. Their heated discussion, which combined humor and sober analysis, brought to light the ridiculousness of current discussions and reaffirmed the need of free expression. While Maher strove to treat both sides fairly, Gutfeld saw identity politics as a trap.